I, of course, would never spend $270 on a weighted blanket. That's a ridiculous amount of money to spend. And then the nerve of that person to make a YouTube video giving other people not financial advice, totally insane. And I hope that you trust me enough to know that I would never do that. What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Rhett, back at it again with another video. And today I'm going to be sharing with you the 6 investing habits that changed my life from a financial perspective. These habits helped me change myself from a little dum-dum that didn't even know what a Roth IRA was into the handsome, intelligent, well-rounded 100,000-aire that you see sitting before you today. These habits have been the backbone of my financial life, and I hope that they'll be as useful to you as they have been to me. So without further ado, down below, smash the like button for the YouTube algorithm, and let's jump into it. Tip number 1. Automate all of your finances. I got this tip from one of my favorite personal finance books of all time, I Will Teach You to Be Rich by Ramit Sethi, which if you're new to personal finance, you should definitely check out that book. And lucky for you, you can do that for free with a trial of Audible Premium Plus, link in the description. So there's really no excuse not to go read that book and make your brain bigger if you are new to personal finance. Automating your finances basically just means that you want to have an entire system drawn and sketched out of, okay, your money's coming from here, then it's going to go here, then it's going to go here. You want to understand all of that from a high level. And that is going to look something like this. Okay, so you're getting money from an employer or freelancing or a business or something. So up here, job. This is where your money is coming from. Maybe 8% of this money goes to a 401k or some retirement plan. And then the rest of it, you're going to split that. Maybe 90% of this goes to your checking account, and then 10% is going to go off into savings. Okay, so now you have savings, and that's going to be for sort of like medium term stuff that you want to do. Your 401k, that's going to be retirement, and then checking is money that you're going to use month to month. Maybe a higher percent goes into your savings if you're self-employed and you need to pay your own taxes and your job didn't take out your taxes. So maybe taxes would go here, and maybe that percentage goes up. All of these numbers are just rough estimates. You don't have to abide by any of these numbers. So now next, in your checking account, you're going to auto pay all of your bills. And here are the bills go. These are all of the obligations in your life. So all this money comes out of your checking account and it pays all your obligations. Maybe this is student debt. Maybe this is a car payment, stuff that you have to pay every month. So now all of that money is gone, right? We've taken all that away. It's out of your checking account. You don't have to worry about it anymore. This is going to help you avoid the trap of investing money that you need in the short term to pay bills or other debt obligations. So now you don't have to worry about these anymore. These are all gone. And so now the beauty of this system is the money that's left in your checking account is all of the guilt-free spending money that you have for the month. You've already contributed to retirement, you've already saved your money for short and medium term expenses, and you've already paid all of these debt obligations that you have every month. So student debt's gone, car payment's gone, electricity, rent, all that stuff, all that's gone. So everything left in your checking account, this is now money that you can spend on coffee, you can spend it on going out to eat, you can invest some of this money, you can put some of it into Bitcoin. And the beauty of automating all of this is that you never have to worry about this. It's done for you. You never have to worry about splitting the savings and the checking. That should be done for you by your payroll system. You should never have to worry about paying any of these bills or obligations because you know how much they are every month, and so you can put them on auto pay. And then if you want to buy Bitcoin automatically every month, I have videos to show you how to do that too. So you could do all of these things fully automatically and know exactly how much money you have left to spend each month. Right here, this is guilt-free money to spend. If there's enough interest, I can make another video about what my system looks like, show you the exact accounts, all of the ways that I've set up and automated this. So if you have any questions about what my system looks like specifically, or if you're having any trouble getting your system set up or automating it, go ahead and leave a comment down below. I do respond to all the comments. You want to set up this automation as soon as possible so that you can just stop worrying about it and know exactly how much money that you're able to spend each month. That's going to give you a lot of confidence about what you can spend when, and know that you're never overextending yourself and investing money that you can't afford to invest. The very first thing you want to do is make sure that you're not investing money that you absolutely need tomorrow. Next habit. You should be investing consistently. And that's because no one can time the market. It's completely impossible. You're just one person. And the idea that you have some insider information or some advantage that no one else knows about is totally absurd. Especially when you get down to the hour by hour trading details or the day by day trading details. I have no no idea what the market is going to look like tomorrow, and you don't either. And no one does. You can think and you can be pretty sure and you can get it right sometimes. The problem is that no one can get it right consistently, and there are major drawbacks to being wrong, especially if you're wrong in a leveraged position. Additionally, there's this really famous study that shows that time in the market is way better than timing the market. From 1999 to 2018, which is about a 20-year investing window, if you missed only the best 10 days of market performance, which 10 days in 20 years is 0.2% of the trading days, or about 1 in 500 days, your gains, if you had missed those 10 days, would have gone down from 5.6% a year all the way down to about 2% a year. So if you missed those 10 best days, you would have lost over half your gains from that 20-year window. And it gets worse. If you had missed the 20 best trading days over that 20-year period, your gains go from 5.6% annualized all the way down to negative 0.33% annualized. So if you miss the best 20 days over that 20-year period, you actually go from making a lot of money to losing money. And of course, it gets even more drastic than this. If you miss the best 60 days over a 20-year window, you actually end up losing out on 7% a year. There's some fair criticism, I think, that comes in opposition to this study. If you're a hardcore day trader, you probably are going to say something like, yeah, well, Rhett, what are the chances that I miss the 10 best trading days in 20 years? It's infinitesimal that I would miss all of those days and be out of the market not trading all of those days. And I think that's a totally fair point. It's really unlikely that you would miss those 10 best days. But the study illustrates a very powerful point, and that's that a very small number of days make up most of the gains for most of the people in the market. And so in my opinion, it's not worth blowing a 20-year track record on 10 bad days. You're better off just staying in the market the entire time, riding the lows, riding the highs, not selling. Just keep your position and ride the roller coaster, basically. Because you can be pretty sure that by the time you need the money, hopefully 40 years from now, that it will have gone up quite a bit from when you started investing. You might not make money every day, but if you stick with it, those 10 good days in 20 years are going to double your returns. Next investing habit, do not fall for FOMO. FOMO, obviously, fear of missing out. And this has been a really big thing recently, I think, with cryptocurrency and with stuff like GameStop and AMC. You see people making 1,000,000% return, and you're like, oh, if I had just invested $10,000 in GameStop when it was $2, then now I would be a millionaire, right? And so then you end up YOLOing all of your money in at $300 and you lose half of it. So what you should do first is come up with an investing thesis before you put money in any investment. For example, a Bitcoin investing thesis would be less than 20% of people in the world hold Bitcoin. I believe that in the future, everyone will hold Bitcoin whether they know it or not, because it will be the back end of the global financial system. And so that by itself would give it a 5x upside because 5 times the number of people would be using it. That's a very simple, unsophisticated investing thesis. And that's going to allow you to make better decisions when the price fluctuates in a huge way. This also gives you the opportunity to reassess your thesis every week or every month or every quarter or every year. Has your thesis changed? Maybe there's some reason you think Bitcoin is not going to be adopted by the entire world, and then maybe you pull some of your money out. Or maybe you double down on your thesis because it's made you a lot of money and you even more believe in that vision of the future that you've had. I think the best way, other than coming up with an investment thesis, to avoid the negative aspects of FOMO is to only do very small buys when you're unsure about any investment. This was my strategy with GameStop. I didn't really believe that GameStop was going to shoot up to the moon, but I was worried that I was going to miss out on some crazy gains if I didn't put some money in. And so I went and I threw $20 into GameStop. I've lost like almost all of that money by now, but it was only $20. And that's why it's really important that if you're looking for a new brokerage, you can find a place that does give you access to fractional shares trading. And that's because most brokerages would have had me buy a $300 position in GameStop just to get one share. But when I use a platform like Robinhood, I'm able to put in any amount of money into GameStop. So I can put in $2 or $5 or $20. And this power of fractional shares investing really limits the downside for you. So if you are really having FOMO, you really want to make that investment, you can do it with a really small, inconsequential amount of money. And as much as I and other people are really mad at Robinhood right now for this whole GameStop thing, Robinhood is still at the forefront of offering fractional shares trading to retail bros like you and me. Robinhood gives you access to fractional shares of almost any stock. Other brokerages do give you access to fractional shares. I know know in my Schwab account I can buy fractional shares of anything in the S&P 500, but it's not any stock. I couldn't buy fractional shares of GameStop. I can't buy fractional shares of MicroStrategy. I can't buy fractional shares of Square, any of those in my Schwab account. I can only do that on Robinhood. And I've done some research and I haven't found any other platforms that give you the same broad access to so many stocks with fractional shares trading as Robinhood does. So if you are brand new to investing and you're looking to open a brokerage account, I think that you should really take into consideration what are the places that are going to allow me to get fractional shares. Because you don't want to be spending $300 on GameStop or $1,000 on MicroStrategy just to get a single share, just to get any exposure to the stock. You want to be able to put in $5 or $10 or $20 and get very small proportional gains when the bet that you make is correct. So in my experience, those are the best things to do to avoid FOMO. Come up with the investing thesis and then try to only invest with fractional shares when you can. Next habit is do not buy things that you don't understand. I learned this lesson the hard way in 2017 when I bought a bunch of stupid altcoins in the altcoin bull run that came at the end of the year of 2017 because there was so much mania around Bitcoin and cryptocurrency at the time. Coins that you had never heard of, Utrust, Dragon Coin, total nonsense, was exploding. These tokens were up 100%, 200%, 1,000%, 5,000%. It was totally nuts. And I thought, oh, I've made some money on Bitcoin. I'm going to buy Utrust and Dragon Coin. I'm going to know, it's going to go to the moon. No, it's not. It's not going to go to the moon. You don't even know what those things are. So fast forward a couple weeks into 2018 and I had lost 90% of my money plus on these stupid altcoins. Luckily, I didn't put in that much money, but it taught me a really powerful lesson. And that's not to put money in something that you don't understand. And it goes back to the whole investing thesis thing. If you don't have an investing thesis in the first place, when the investment drops 90% in a couple weeks, do you buy more or do you sell? Or do you hold on to it? You never had a thesis in the first place. You don't even know what this underlying asset does. How can you make an informed, good decision on whether you should buy, hold, or sell it? You can't because you don't even know what it is. So do your research and make sure you're only putting money into things that you fully understand. The risk of going totally to zero is a lot higher when you start putting money into stuff that you don't even know what it is. Next, let's look at a habit that has been really key for me in the last year in saving money and not spending it on stupid, frivolous stuff that I don't need. What I do is I don't consider the cost of things that I'm going to buy today. I consider what is the cost of that money going to be 10 years from now. So if you're buying $30 jeans, 7% interest, 10 years later, those jeans are going to be $50 jeans. So maybe that's not a big deal. Maybe you really need jeans. Maybe you still buy the jeans. It's only $20. But when you go buy a $270 weighted blanket, hypothetically, because you think it's going to help you sleep better, even though you've never used a weighted blanket and you don't know if you would even like a weighted blanket, hypothetically, it might be better to consider that that weighted blanket that's $270 now is going to be over $500 10 years from now. And do you want to spend $500 on a weighted blanket? It's a lot of money. You might be better off saving that money, hypothetically. I, of course, would never spend $270 on a weighted blanket. That's a ridiculous amount of money to spend. Who would do that? That's so dumb. What a complete waste of money. And then the nerve of that person to make a YouTube video giving other people not financial advice, totally insane. I would never do that. And I hope that you trust me enough to know that I would never do that. The other great habit that I've gotten into that really motivates me to stay on track and continue to invest in the long term is tracking my investment progress in a spreadsheet. This sounds really nerdy and stupid, and why do I even need to do that? The money is going to be the money regardless of whether I track it or not. But most wealthy people I know actually do maintain their investments in a spreadsheet so that they can make better decisions based on how those investments are performing over a long period of time. As management guru Peter Drucker has famously said, what gets measured gets managed. If you're not tracking how much money you're making, if you're not tracking how well your investments are performing, you're not going to have any idea what your best investments are, how well they've done over time, and how well they've done against other investments that you could have made over that same period of time. Additionally, it's really encouraging to see your net worth grow over time. And rather than seeing investing and saving as a negative punishment or something to be avoided, tracking your progress in these spreadsheets gives you a really good feeling when you save money because it makes that number go up. And that's a really satisfying feeling. It taps into that same dopamine centers of our brain that get us addicted to technology. I'm now addicted to tracking my finances in a spreadsheet. And this is even better and more motivating when you have a specific number that you're looking to hit. Maybe for you, you know that once you hit zero net worth, you're going to be totally debt free. You've gotten out of student loan debt, you've gotten out of credit card debt, and that's really great. Or maybe you know that once you hit $20,000, maybe you can retire for a little bit, go take a long vacation and live in a couple other countries. Do the whole financial minimalism thing and travel the world. Or maybe your number is $250,000 because then you know that you can retire from your 9 to 5 and start working on building a business that you've always wanted to build. Or maybe your number is $2 million and you want to hit that number so that you can fully retire from everything and go live on a beach somewhere. Everyone's number is going to be different, but you can use the same spreadsheet strategy to motivate yourself through every different level of financial freedom. And keeping it all in this spreadsheet is again going to make it seem a lot more like something to work towards and something that's fun to do rather than a punishment. You shouldn't view it as a punishment. You're making your future life a lot better than it would have been otherwise. This advice is really applicable at any stage of your investing and personal finance journey. So if you ever get confused about something or if you're unsure about an investment that you're about to make, definitely come back to this video and see if that investment that you're about to make passes all of these tests. Look at it from all these different angles and see, is this really an investment that I should be making? If it doesn't pass one of these tests, or if a little red flag goes off in your head and you're like, maybe I shouldn't be buying a $270 weighted blanket, don't buy it, save the money. If you learned anything from this video, go ahead down below, smash the like button for the YouTube algorithm. That's gonna allow YouTube to recommend this video to a bunch of other people, and then hopefully it will be as helpful to them as it was to you. If anything that I said was confusing, or if you wanna know more about anything I talked about in this video, go ahead and leave a comment down below. I do respond to all the questions and comments. And if you wanna see more videos like this, subscribe and hit the notification bell for more tech, money, and success videos every Monday at 10 a.m. Eastern. I love you all. Goodbye.